Well, today instead of Jeremy, we have Nick, but we'll give it a few minutes so we can go live on. Don't mind Nick over there. He's just playing with sandpaper on his desk while he talks to us.
What is that, bro? You gotta tell us.
It's in the table.
You're like, yeah, it's like sounds like sandpaper. Like you're really like.
Hey, you know what? When I remember the first one we did, Kenny, my mouse, it just kept clicking.
Oh yeah, it was super loud. It was incredible. I was like, what's going on? I just want to make sure that we're live on the YouTube before we.
No, you're good. I'm actually gonna grab that link and yep, I see live 2. Got it.
We're live.
Yep, I saw it live, and then my.
We posted it in the chat line group too.
Yep, I got you.
Thanks, man. Someone just commented the chat. The chat was pissed off about the mouse clicks.
Oh, my mouse clicks. Yeah, man. I definitely. I will not be mouse clicking for a while. I got a mouse pad and everything now. It's pretty nice.
All right. So everyone knows, well, theoretically, everyone knows Nick and myself. So if you want to introduce yourself, Nick, the other Nick.
For sure. So I'm Nick Bonham with I'm currently with Nebraska Patrol. I've been there for 14 years. I'm signed to criminal interdiction unit for the last maybe 7 years this summer. My group, we're task force with a 3-letter agency. We work mass transit and parcel interdiction. So bus, train, truck stops, rest areas, a little bit of hotel, not much. It's about consensual encounters and building reasonable suspicion through conversation. That's my favorite thing to do. So I instruct that through ACIT, a class called Intercept. We go over consensual encounters, how to conduct them, how to build reasonable suspicion, sign of deception behavior, building rapport, consensual, asking for consent. Heavy case law based class to start. So we need to build the confidence of where you could work and the parameters you could work at. Once you have the confidence of where you could work and what you could do, that just opens the door to learn how to build reasonable suspicion through conversation. Once you're able to build reasonable suspicion and be able to identify the indicators that you need or the factors that you need to build that, sky's the limit on what criminal activity you're going to find. So that's what we hammer on. That's what we talk about. That's my number one thing to do. I love to do it. Very active in it. And my group we're all very active in it. We all wake up the same day or the same time, knowing like our mission mindset's the same, right? We're all going to find bad guys and take people to jail, find dope. So that's the great thing about being in a group. So I don't know if you guys work in a group or not. Let's spin off that. Let's talk about actually working amongst a group of guys that just feed into each other.
I want to give you some props. So when I came out there to teach, you took me out with you for your day. Your day starts at like 3:30 in the morning. It's early as shit, and it is like nonstop. You got to hit your buses because you only have like 15 minutes, and then you got to go to your train or vice versa. But it's like, dude, it is like moving fast those first couple hours, and it's like you get up and you're running. It was impressive to sit back and watch.
Yeah, thanks. We get a comment that we get a lot is our group is a well-oiled machine. So our group is 30 years into this. So along the way, there's people that have laid a foundation of like what this group should do and how it should act. And when somebody leaves the group, somebody else steps up and takes that non-informal leadership role. Somebody else leaves the group. Somebody else steps up in that non-informal leadership just like keeps on going from the last 30 years to where we are right now. So it is wake up and you're running because the train ain't waiting for you, the bus ain't waiting for you, and packages need to be shipped. So you got to get up, you got to wake up and get going. So it's a great time.
Yeah, we'll talk about teams though. Me personally, I have 2 part-time guys that worked with me. At one point, I had a full-time interdiction guy with me. The way my agency runs it is basically you have about a year to 18 months to come up on the highway. And if you have success or you see improvement, they will give you a full-time spot. But instead of getting assigned there initially, you get about 20 hours a month or so. And then you have that opportunity to see if it's for you and kind of meshes and just see how everything flows. So it's as far as having a guy at my agency up there consistently, it's not necessarily all the time, but there's a lot of since I started working up there, there's been a lot of multi-agency teams that have formed, and we have our own chats and when we talk. So it's not like I'm up there alone, but the way my agency operates as far as like the team aspect of it, the closest thing that I have something that what you have would be like the canine unit. That's a very camaraderie based unit. But when it comes to interdiction, it's from my agency perspective, it's kind of flowing with people in and out every 18 months or so until we find someone that loves it and excels in it, and then they'll be up there full time.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome. As you saw, for us, our dynamic is we're with each other every single day. Like we count on each other to help. Whether it's a delivery, if I find a package, if I take a picture of a package, like this is going to be good, I'm going to write a search warrant. Well, somebody's already looking up utilities. Somebody's already doing a drive-by of the house. Somebody's doing an ops plan. So that's where like that well-oiled machine is. So when it comes to like our group setting, it's very it's a must-have, especially because there's such a things are clicking and going. We have to have either one or two things. Either if we make a contact with the bus or the train and they want to further the case, then we're on the bus's timeline when we're doing these controlled deliveries. So maybe if it's going to Cleveland, like we have to figure out how we're going to stage this to make it look like this dude's still on the way to Cleveland, right? But all that takes is like teamwork and effort, because you could carry in through the night sitting still at the office and doing whatever you need to do. When it comes to a package, it's like these packages are due by 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock. And so you have to stay within that timeline and be able to hit those timelines. It's a group effort. You can't do this by yourself. So that's where our group differs from, somebody working the road. You're kind of just like, you're on your own until you're not, until like, hey, can I get a second over here? I'm going to be searching this car. For us, it's like if I'm hitting somebody up and doing central encounters, like the moment that I go into search, like I expect one of my guys to already come up, engage in this conversation why I am facing to this bag. So we have some sort of officer safety issue going on there. But it's also nice too, because if I'm sitting heavy on cases or somebody else is sitting heavy on cases, like, hey, got a good bag over here on the Amtrak, somebody take this and abandon it. Or, hey, there's another box over here on the truck. It looks pretty good if somebody wants it. We're like really sharing that love with each other, because I mean, yeah, I'm sure you guys see it too when it comes to numbers. We kind of joked a little bit about leadership and stuff and what some of the topics we could have, but numbers driven is very apparent across all like interdiction or specialty groups. Like, how bad do we actually need this group? So if I'm sitting heavy on numbers, like we'll pass those. Do you guys ever see that or anything? Or
go ahead, Nick.
Go ahead, Kenny. Oh, me. My own personal views and no expression of my own agency. I would say I think that it's good to have that type of camaraderie where you have the ability to call someone else and work in teams, because what we do can be dangerous. Just in law enforcement in general, it's just a dangerous gig, man. But I've always had the interest to work postal, and I live through your eyes over there, Nick. So yeah, I see how you guys do the postal stuff, man. Like you guys are just killing it, man. Postal is just, I think it's really untouched among the country, man. And what you guys do is small teams. I think there should be more teams in more major cities and areas doing what you guys are doing with the parcels, man. It's really some badass shit that you guys are doing.
Yeah, it's definitely, let's put it in perspective. The last 2 years, so 2 years ago, our group alone, just at UPS, not counting FedEx, just at UPS, we had 39 cases 2 years ago, okay? decent amount. Last year we had 140 cases. So just look at the trajectory of where this is going. It's not going away. It's actually getting worse. It's getting to the point where, like, okay, we got a serious problem here. And that's just us working in Omaha. I know for a fact, like, I'll go to, I taught down in Florida. I think it was like, I don't know if it was Tampa. Nobody works UPS in Tampa. It's like, you guys would be killing it down there. It would be insane, you know? So I don't know if it's got to be a manpower thing, or maybe command just doesn't see the need. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it is a very small percentage of guys that work parcel interdiction.
I bet in my heart, knowing cops, that it is probably hard for cops to build the connections. You have them established, but to start out from ground zero, even though you can tell them how to do it, it still kind of takes cops out of those comfort zones to be like, okay, I'm going to go talk to UPS or, you know, and FedEx and try to work my way up to management to pitch this idea. I feel like that's kind of out of a lot of cops' comfort zones. So I think that probably gives them a lot of apprehension. And that could, you know, if I'm a young cop and I want to do it, not only do I have to convince my immediate supervisor, it's probably going to have to go up all the way to the chain of commands. And that apprehension is going to be in each level of command staff at that point. And without having those, I guess, open lines of communication or established, or relationships established, it's probably pretty hard for them.
Yeah, it's just like a lot of things, man. In that essence, like, there's a lot of things that are unorthodox. And with those unorthodox becomes fear, the unknown, and administration see that, you know, younger officers, deputies, state officers, whoever, like, they see that it's, you know, it's something that it's not normally done in their area. Maybe it's interdiction, maybe it's postal, maybe it's consensual encounters. And because they don't do it, you know it can be done, but going out there and just, like, you know, making that cold stop, you know, going out there and talking to these security managers of these particular companies, DHL, UPS, things of that nature, trying to make those contacts so that they can get in there and work those postal parcels that are coming through. I think that's like you said, Ken, it's a big fear of administrators, but also, you know, the frontline officers that are around the country that are out there. I think that they're just, manpower is definitely an issue. I think also across the country, I don't know of any agency in the country that has no issues with manpower. Every single position is filled, and they can go 12 months without, you know, having any administration issues as far as the manpower. So I think that's a definitely a positive role into why a lot of people don't work it.
Yeah, there's no different than like the I-40 thread, the I-15 thread, the I-10, the I-80 thread. Everybody that works that, well, we're no different than we have a thread for parcel interdiction. Mike Vaccaro over at Dynamic and myself kind of started this. I think it's been 4 years ago. It started with just me, him, and some guy from Nashville. We're up to 100 guys in it, and we all the amount of cases that this one group alone has furthered is it's impressive. Just as last Friday, there's a guy that's in the group. He's down in Kansas City. He's really active at UPS. He hits 10 pounds of meth. He reaches out to me because it's going to Lincoln. He knows that I live in Omaha. I'm able to get it to the guys in Lincoln. The Lincoln guys meet the guys down in Kansas City, and they can bring it up and do a delivery. So, but it is happening all across the country. And I just want to give props to this group. Like, there's guys that I don't even hold a candle to what they're doing. Like, it is insane. Ray out of Ontario, California, that dude is smashing kilos almost weekly. Insane. Because he's sending us like, hey, I need somebody down in Huntsville, Alabama. Hey, I need somebody in New Jersey. I'm looking for somebody in Morgantown, West Virginia. I'm looking, like, it's in now this group is to where we are. It is very rare if we're not sending him a contact. Like, hey, this guy over here, he's your dude. This is your guy. This is the interdiction group over here and whatnot. And they're just furthering these cases. But just a shout out to that group alone. If anybody is listening or is part of that group, it is one of one of our most proudest things is just to be able to further these cases, and started with just Mike Vaccaro and myself. And Vaccaro had a big part of it. He started the group, and we just keep on snowballing. And if I teach a class or something, and I know a guy that's heavy into parcels and he does a really good job, boom, he's in the group. So it's really good.
I didn't. TJ Cullen created this small group like 8 years ago. We were talking about it literally last night, and there's 11 of us in this group, and it all started because I missed a load in a gas tank, and I met a trooper on the SHIELD team out in Pittsburgh, and we became friends. And now there's like from Indiana all the way over to New Jersey Port Authority, small little group, but that group, I mean, it's nonstop. Sure, there's a lot of like busting balls and joking and stuff, but there's also like, it's a small enough group that it doesn't get overwhelming, and the amount of information that is shared in that group. Like, I'm the dumbest person in that group. There is some way, like, everyone is way better, way more intelligent about like just everything. And it's interesting because all of us started out as interdiction, and a lot of them have moved on to other aspects of the profession, different groups and units, and doing different things. But then like that networking ability in within interdiction always comes back, because they'll be like, hey, do you know someone here? Do you know someone here? And it always falls back to that networking, which I think interdiction as a whole has always been leaps and bounds better than any other part of law enforcement. The interdiction networking groups are huge.
Yeah, I can definitely say the same. I'm in several of myself, and man, just to be able to reach out, hey, does anyone know someone in this state or this city? And just the ability to be able to put a pin drop on somebody, phone number, contact, and if they don't know somebody, they know someone that knows somebody. So yeah, this community is very small, but from everything from foot to vehicle to aircraft, we can pretty much probably reach out, touch somebody at an airport or somewhere, which is good. You know, we got to have that for what we do.
Oftentimes we answer a lot of questions. So Nick, what are some of the most common questions that you get from cops that either want to get into what you're doing, or some of the biggest struggles that they have?
I'll speak in general terms. Oh, which Nick are you talking about?
Oh yeah.
I was like, hey God, can we both? I was like, hang on. Who's Nick?
We'll go with Bonnie first.
All right, go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So relationships, like, how do you build relationships? Where do you even start? We talked about this earlier, touched on this, is like, how do you even go to UPS or FedEx and just tell them, hey, this is what I want to do? I answer the question by building relationships from the ground up. And you're almost bending over backwards whatever they want you to do. If they say you could come in here, but we only want you to stand at this belt, and that's it. And we want you to wear this. We want you to wear that. We don't want a vest. We don't want guns exposed. We don't want dogs inside of here. You do it. And you do it until you build up that trust and that relationship. It might be a year. It might be a year where you could only come in here between 7 and 8 o'clock. You could stand right here and you wear this. Okay. Until they figure out that you have their best interest in mind, because this is a private entity. They're in it for one thing. That's to make money. So once they see that you are not messing up their flow, they're still on time, you're not an asshole, you're not disruptive, then they'll start to let you venture out a little bit more. Like, hey, I understand you only want me to stand right here, but is it okay if I just look at these zip codes on these trucks? Because this is all they want to see. You're not asking for the keys of the facility yet, but it's just like building that up and building that relationship, knowing like, I say this too, is that when you're talking to the security guys, okay, what are they doing every single day? They're dealing with fraud. They're dealing with bad employees. They're dealing with employees stealing stuff. Well, what's more fun than you being a security guy at UPS, helping find drugs that are coming into your own community? You're not in law enforcement, you're a security guy at UPS, but if I could bring them into the fold and make them feel like, and not even feel like, make them part of my team, then that's where the light switch will come on for them. That's when they're being proactive and they're starting to look up known smuggler accounts, known drug trafficking organization accounts that are used all across the United States. So say I can't get to UPS, or I am there, but my guy is already active. I can, he might say, hey, I got 3 boxes here today. And I'm not even stepped foot into the facility yet. So It's all about trust. It's about relationships, and it's about bringing them into the group and into the team. So if you could do those things, it won't be long. You will have the keys to the facility to be able to work parcel interdiction in your community. So
Did you lose his audio too?
am I up?
You're up now. You're cut off just maybe like the past 30 seconds, man.
Okay. All right. Another one was like, hey guys, I got a USPS. You know, I got a postal office in my area. Live in a small town. Only thing I got is a postal. It's like, well, get to know your postal inspector because that's a federal thing. They're not going to let you go in and just look at packages because you're local law enforcement. So that it makes it tough. Like you have to have a UPS facility or a FedEx facility in your jurisdiction. So when it comes to parcels, when it comes to extensional counters, man, anybody, literally anybody, if you're in law enforcement, could do extensional counters. But there's such a fear. And I talk about the fear in my class too. It's like, I'll ask them like, hey, what's the hardest thing about extensional counters? You know, and they'll be like, the approach, thinking that you're going to be wrong, accusations, knowing case law, when to go from an extensional counter to a Terry stop or a tier 1 to a tier 2, you know, knowing what reasonable suspicion is and what it takes during extensional counters to build that. And really, then I say, yeah, everything you're saying is all based around fear. This is all fear. So hopefully after the end of today, blah, 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 you'll those fears will be gone. So, you know, I'll field a phone call from our local airport. Nick Jackson left. He left the building. So anyways, I'll field a phone call and they're like, hey, we got this guy. Looks pretty suspicious. We're watching him on the cameras. They'll give me like, this is his ID, blah, 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 blah. And what they're fishing for is wanting our group to come in and talk to them. And I'll just tell them like, hey, you could go up and talk to these people. Just go up and have a conversation with them, see what's going on. They're like, ooh, I better not do that. And our bosses don't let us do that. You're like, you're the airport police. Okay. You could go talk to anybody. Any law enforcement could go talk to anybody during extensional counters. So extensional counters are tough just because people have a fear around them. So
I'm introverted by nature. So when I became a cop, I was always like just super quiet in general, but kind of what got me out of the shell is literally like going to the gas station, and just saying hi to people. Like just because it kind of broke that, it kind of broke that. I think we're getting back feed from Nick's laptop. Are you guys hearing it or is it just me?
I got it. I'm hearing it.
Yeah, it's
Well,
it's definitely echoing. It's definitely echoing.
Do you hear it when I talk?
Now I do. Yeah.
Yep.
Now I do.
Nick, talk.
Hello.
No, Jackson talk. Did he freeze?
He's all messed up.
I don't know what's going on with him. I'll just remove him. Well, these next two
Just
questions
kick him out.
He's back here. Well, no, I got 2 Nick Jacksons now on the bottom.
Oh, that's the problem.
Are we better? Nick Jackson.
His mic's muted.
Nick Jackson, your mic's muted. But we'll go into Nicky. You got it? You with us now?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Now I can. There's echoing and you froze and all kinds of stuff happened, bro. I was trying to talk to you, and can you hear us? Hello.
What's going on with my audio? I can't hear you.
We can hear you. Can you hear us? Nick, can you hear us? All right. Well.
All right. Can you hear?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yeah. I'll just put it through my computer. It was just giving me problems.
All right, fair enough, dude. I don't know.
Didn't-
Like you froze and all
didn't
kinds
like-
of weird shit was going on. Dude, like I had the most
technology, man.
I had the most stoic photo of you. And I thought you were just like pondering something deep in thought, but it was just you were frozen.
Nope. I don't know what it is. All good.
We have some questions, but I wanted to make one comparison. You were talking about the security guards like getting excited to find dope at the UPS and FedEx places. I find that same thing if you stop a car hauler and you're like, yeah, I think there's drugs here. Those dudes are like getting torches out and like wanting to help you, like try to find it. I'm like, nah, man, like I appreciate it, but like I'm good. But like a lot of those truck drivers, like they don't see that kind of stuff. So that excitement, they're like, holy shit, there's drugs in that car. I don't know. Probably similar to someone that's working security that instead of dealing with internal shit, they get to find drugs. Probably pretty exciting for them. Bonnie, I think that you're muted too.
Still there?
You're good. Nope, you're good now. What a mess.
Okay.
Anyway, here's some questions that came up. Any common reactions you see while you're in the median? Nick Jackson. Can't hear you. I'll answer it until Nick gets his stuff. I don't necessarily look for common reactions or anything along those lines. For one thing that I like in my state, semis can only go 65 and cars can go 70. So if I see a car that's in the fast lane and he's passing or getting ready to pass, and then he'll like slows down and jumps behind a semi and then tucks real close up into that, that's something that I like to see. I don't mind if you want to go slow. That's not the issue at all. Or if the left lane's wide open and you're riding a semi's butt, like that's what I like to see when it comes to like those are just simple things that I like to pay attention to, but it doesn't necessarily be that's the only thing I'm looking for. And there's not one's not better than the other. That's just one that draws my attention because it's so abnormal.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Awesome. So, in no representation of my agency, I like to look for things like following too close, vehicles that'll leave the roadway, vehicles. Because think about it, right? When typically most vehicles come into like, that phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, they typically, are usually speeding to some degree or doing something silly back there, and they see you and they start to straighten up. I just got back home, was out of town, and literally on my way back, like you would see people see a cop in the median and vehicles would react. And then after they passed the cop, what were they all doing? They all pick back up and go back to speeding or doing whatever they were doing before. So I look for literally that deviation or that change. And once I see that kind of like locks me into where I'm going to go.
And how fast do they go back to speeding after you see that? Like, it's almost
typically the moment they leave out of the view and they see you haven't left, wherever, if you're sitting in a city or if you're sitting, on a county road, whatever, and you haven't left and your vehicle is now out of view. In my experience, working various agencies throughout my career, yeah, I've seen it. They just typically will go back to doing it the moment they're not coming after them. So they'll just keep it rolling. So there's no need to wait.
Another question: reaction for a single lane and passing lane zone with no median. We get lots of speed reactions alone.
Jackson. So you're talking 2 lane. I'm guessing the question was 2 lane road passing and getting reactions.
I think they means like single lane with like a middle passing lane or something like that, like a 3 lane almost, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. With those, I mean, it's always going to be a deviation. I learned, I don't claim this, but Mike Temez kind of have a theory of opening and closing the gap, right? So I like to use his theory when I explain it. Vehicles, when they're approaching, you have 2 vehicles, and as they're approaching, they usually will, either open that gap or somehow if they have a target vehicle in the back, start closing that gap, but not willing to pass. So the big thing is, I mean, you're still going to see a deviation. Yeah, they're going to see you, and typically in my belief, my personal belief, if a vehicle sees you and they have or doing something wrong, they're not going to be speeding. They're going to be trying to reduce that speed so that doesn't draw your attention, so you don't come after them. So you're going to see something drastically, usually slower, or a deviation to get off the roadway, so that they're not typically driving. I mean that's just my personal belief and what I believe will take place.
Yeah, he gave a follow-up question. So it looks like there's a 2-lane highway that merges into a 2-mile stretch of a 4-lane road.
Okay, gotcha. So it's I'm guessing 2 passing zones that come up together. Yeah. I wouldn't be focusing on the speeders unless there were some other contributing factors. I always tell people, look for contributing factors. Don't look for a singular item of interest. Try to find things that are going to compound. So you have example, following too close, failure to signal as they lane change to get into the right lane when they see you, right? So now I have 2 contributing factors that led me to this vehicle. And in that example I gave, it had probable cause, failure to signal. Some violations, or I'm sorry, some observances that you'll see, you may not have a violation, but it's a compound effect upon seeing a threat. And that threat could be someone in uniform. It could be a marked vehicle. It could be an unmarked vehicle. It could be something that has a consequence, right? If you see something that has a consequence, you're not going to speed. Right? And we're talking about just generic, people who don't want a speeding ticket. They see a cop, they're going to freeze up. They're going to do the right thing. And, shoot, I can think of several times of traveling across the country. You guys know I travel and I usually post up where I'm in, but I still get the fear factor, of, oh, snap, cop, let me slow down, check my speed, my seatbelt on, right? And I'm doing all the right things already. It's just one of those things. It's just a natural reaction. But, those that are not involved in criminal activity, I typically don't see a major change than I would in someone that's usually involved in criminal activity. And again, that's just my personal belief.
It's almost you were just talking about, it's almost like a subconscious reaction that we see even as cops. Like, we're around cops all the time, but there's still that fear factor. That's an authority figure. We might be speeding or something along those lines. And we're like checking, like, are we doing everything correct? It's just something that humans do subconsciously, I feel.
Yeah.
Or Bonnie, how can you relate that to something with consensual encounters? I feel like similar behavior, similar, like it's not a car, it's just a human, but they're going to be doing pretty much the same stuff, right?
Oh, 100%. And what you guys are talking about, which I think it's hard for Nick Jackson to like pin on, like this guy has a really he's like, it's a 2 lanes, goes into 1 lane. It's like, it's hard to envision that if you don't work it. So I think this guy makes a comment, I don't know who it is, like, establish the normal of like what the everyday traffic is. Like, what does every day look like? And then, okay, pursue the abnormal. I think it's so hard to like give an example. Like, what's this? Everybody wants like what should I look for? Well, where are you working at? What's it look like? Like, what does the normal everyday traffic look like? Are you between 2 big cities? Is there are you between Omaha and Lincoln, or are you in Western Nebraska when somebody drives by and you're like, you are way out of place? And I know you're traveling across the country. Or are you between 2 large metropolitan areas? Way 2 different things. So for that guy, I would say I've never hit a load in a car ever. And I've never even pulled a car over on the interstate for it. But I would say, just like what I do, establish a normal, pursue the abnormal. So to go back into Kenny Williams, is the people's reaction. It doesn't matter if they're on foot or in a vehicle, you're going to have the limbic system reaction of that freeze, fight, or flight. Okay. And that is what I look for. And so for the last 6 or 7 years, you have established what normal looks like. So I actually took a page out of a marked somebody that's sitting in the median. You guys talk about the different phases, phase 1, 2, and 3. So I went to the Street Cop conference in 2023, saw this presenter, and Brian Knopp out of PSP. And he talked about the different phases when he was up there. I've never been to an interdiction conference before when it comes to highway interdiction, but I was thinking, like, how can I apply that to my everyday work? So from almost that point on, about a year later, I used to always be in plain clothes. Everything I did was in plain clothes. Well, I changed it up. I put a vest on that says, everybody knows what a law enforcement vest looks like, right? It does. It's my heavy vest. It says police on it. It's got my everyday tools of the trade on it. But I wear that to induce the reaction of somebody that is up to some sort of criminal activity. And it's been a game changer for the last year. If you compare my numbers of arrests from wearing it to not wearing it, our group doubled the numbers of what we were doing the year prior, because I am inducing that reaction. I'm creating that limbic system of freeze, flight, or fight. And we're looking for that. We're looking for those small reactions to us. And, I'll tell them that in the extensional encounters, because what is, when you're in extensional encounter, like, why are you talking to me? There's 50 people in here. Why did you come up to me? Right? It's a common thing. And you better have an answer for it. And it better be a logical answer of like why you're talking to them, because they can flip the script on you really quickly if you're not like quick, like, hey, this is why I'm talking to you. And I'll just tell them, like, hey, the way you reacted to me was different than every single person in this, in the bus terminal, the truck stop, the hotel, motel, the restaurant, wherever it is, wherever you're working at, the way you reacted to my presence alone was different than everybody else's. And I don't get an argument then anymore. I used to be like, well, you have a new bag, right? And or I don't see any identifiable information on your bag, and I know that blah blah blah. And they're like, well, what about their bag? What about their bag? And what about their bag, right? But if I say, hey, your reaction to my presence alone was different than everybody else's, well, they know what their reaction was. They know that they saw me, they did an eye block, and they went to the bathroom. They were in the bathroom, then they went to the as far away as they can from me in the bus terminal. Well, you just have to be able to articulate, like, every single person that comes in here, you establish the normal. They look at me, they see me, they might even say hi, they might wave to me, they might not say anything, but they're not eye blocking, they're not running out the front door, they're not turtling up on the bench or wherever you're at. It's the small reactions. So I posted a video in the ASA group last week. We had a guy that gave us a good reaction on the Amtrak, and he came down the stairs, he went back up the stairs, came back down the stairs, he went back up the stairs. And so that reaction to our presence was different than everybody else's. Well, the guy thought he had he was violating his probation because he was out of state and he wasn't supposed to be, right? But so he thought he was going to be arrested or in trouble for it. That was, he actually talked about his reaction that he had to us. I hit him up, and because we took him off the train left him. It turns out he didn't have a warrant. So now we brought him to the bus to be nice, to get him back on the bus so he could get back on his way to Chicago. And I just asked him, I was like, hey, what was your reaction to us? And he just broke it down. He's like, I think I had a slight reaction to you, but it wasn't big. It's like, well, the slight is what we look for. So to bring it full circle to you guys on driving on the road, you might have somebody like, well, I had a slight reaction. I just slowed down and got behind the semi. It's like, well, guess what? That slight reaction to you was different than everybody else. And that's exactly what we look for. So no different than somebody driving a car or somebody on foot.
Yeah. I literally, before we hopped on here, I literally was on a phone talking to an officer in Texas, and I gave the advice that, listen, if you want to get better at spotting, I think it was driving behaviors, the topic we were talking at, or, the question was picking that right car, as she posed it. I was like, then you're going to have to go out there, and I pulled one of your lines, Kenny, go out there. Don't stop any cars. Observe traffic for a whole day. Don't do anything. And you're going to see those subtle cues and those subtle movements of vehicles that are deviating differently than other vehicles, right? They're going to be moving differently. They're going to be trying to get off the roadway. And I believe she was a city officer. So they're just going to operate different, and you're going to see it and you're going to notice it. And if you get off these cell phones, and if you have the capability to close your CAD and not be dived into your computer and trying to run random plates, yeah, you're going to see this stuff, but you have to be visible. I know in class, I give the example, if you're at a state fair and you're walking around with your partner and you see everybody coming up, like you guys said, waving at you, saying hi, but then all of a sudden you get somebody they're walking by and they're on the phone and they look up, see you, beady eyes, and then turn around and go back the other direction. Is that probably going to be a big deviation from what you've probably been seeing at the fair? Yes, probably so. And that's the one that you should probably go up and, hey, how you doing? So I always give that, like just a lot of stuff. People call us experts in our fields, and are we good at what we do? 100%. But even as experts, are we still always in the ability to learn from each other? And we are, right? But a lot of the things that we talk about or even talk about in classes, it's general knowledge. We all have this common knowledge, but we just don't know how to act on it. And that's all we really show. A good portion of our stuff and stuff we show in classes, and we try to coach people over the phone and Messenger, because I know I'm just as busy on Messenger and stuff like that. So I know you guys are as well. But a lot of the stuff is just general knowledge we already have the answers to. We're just trying to find that way to fine tune our abilities and skills and what we're looking for and what we're trying to do when we're out there.
Just thinking about this, I wish I had body cam back in the day. I'll never forget it. I walk into a gas station, and it goes back to like the consensual encounters. There's a dude standing in front of me. My radio cues up. Just a little beep. Was nothing. I don't even remember what it was. He turned around real slow to look at me. His eyes got big as shit. He turned around, paid for his stuff, and then as he was walking out, it's almost like he was like speed walking to his car. So I got my energy drink. I went on the highway. I stopped him, and there was an empty compartment in a Nissan Rogue or Murano, whatever it was, and I was like, it was all based. I was just happen chance at the gas station, and the dude reacted because he knew I was the police based on my. And it was just great reactions, and reactions are in our everyday of life. It doesn't have to be a car reaction. Just human. It's human behavior that you're looking for in a car or outside of a car. I think it all translates pretty well.
Yes. And it doesn't even have to be law enforcement related. This is stuff that is an everyday aspect of life. People react. It can be a fear of a clown, fear of a snake, fear of anything. People are going to show different reactions, and it's just, I have a Subaru STI, and I have a loud modified exhaust on it. And I'm telling you, if I'm at a slow roll and there are young kids, usually boys, and they hear my car, they turn around, they light it up, and I two-step it. That's a reaction. That's a reaction you get from kids. So it could be an excitement reaction. It could be a bad reaction, fear reaction. There's so many reactions out there, but what we're doing, looking for criminals, we're looking for fear-based, right? Or distancing, right? Or combination thereof. And that's kind of what we're looking for. That's all we're really going out there showing people.
Yeah.
Bonnie, have you ever thought go ahead.
Have you guys ever taken Craig Myers' class before?
No, I have
Portions of it.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you right now, if there's a Craig Meyer class in your area, it's so good. He does such a great job of talking about fear-based or reaction-based policing. He breaks down numerous different videos. He does a really good job, really hammers on the limbic system. I walked away from that class knowing that I needed to do better because he showed another level of what policing looks like. He did an amazing job. So huge fan of Craig Myers, and I'll take his class again and again.
I forgot I was going to go with the question, but how important is leadership when you're trying to either do this type of work or even establish it when it comes to, like, if you go to a department that's not familiar with it? How important is it to have leadership support and continued leadership support? Because we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to have errors. How important is it to you guys?
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, it's policing, I would say, I almost want to say it starts and ends in leadership because a poor leader doesn't care about your needs when you go to work. But if you express your needs of, like, this is what drives me to want to go to work. This is why I wake up every single day. And yes, you have to have the agency's goals in mind. And also you have to be able to have the officer's goals in mind too. And as a good leader, you're going to be able to figure out how to pair those things together to where we are succeeding at the agency's goals, but we're doing that by really giving our officers their needs of, like, their why. So establish a why you want to go to work. Why I want to go to work is what I'm doing every single day. I tell everybody, whoever will listen to me, that I have the best job in the State Patrol by far. Okay. And the great thing about the State Patrol, put a plug in the RAS State Patrol, is that, well, if you're not in a position where you are in the best position the State Patrol has to offer, or whatever your agency is, go find it. Go do something else. Find what drives you to make you want to come to work, and your leadership should be able to back you on that by also aligning the agency's goals along with your own goals. So that's how I look at a leader.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a two-part there, right? A little bit of what Nick said, like you have to have a middle ground. And I think from a supervisor perspective, if you're supervising, most just want to micromanage, right? A good portion.
Not most. I'm a supervisor. Relax over there.
Hey, man, there's some people out there that want to micromanage everything.
Some. I'll give you some, not most.
But you know, there it comes a time when you have to understand when you have an individual that is highly motivated at what they do, right? And young or old, been in the game long enough, you know, check in with that officer, right? I talk a lot about mental health and an officer's mindset, right? Because you can come in and hammer down on an officer and you have no idea, haven't even asked in months, weeks, years, how are you doing? How are things at home? Are you feeling okay? Is there something that the agency can help? Is there something I can, as a leader, can help you out with? I don't think that there's enough leaders in law enforcement, myself included, people that reach out to me on a regular basis. Man, they go through so much stuff and I hear so much stuff. A lot of it I can relate to, you know, but there's just a lot of supervisors out there. I think they get off on just not really giving a hell. They don't care. But there are that 1%, the Kennies, the supervisors that give a crap and that, you know, care about the guys and the girls that they supervise, that care about, you know, their mindset, their mental health, because in this job, we see and we do a lot. We're expected, no matter what we see, no matter the call we just cleared 5 minutes ago, you can go from a homicide or a robbery or, you know, a gunshot victim to taking a report for theft. And you got to have that mental capacity to take the next call. And not only that, go home to those families, kids, try not to let that stuff bleed into your family life, your marriages, your relationships. And then they expect you to come back to work the next day and be okay. And it's just very unfortunate in this field of law enforcement, a high percentage, I'd say, of leaders that don't take care of their people. You know, learn to lead, learn to be good leaders, learn to look after your guys and your girls, man. And, you know, make sure that they're doing okay at home. And if there's any supervisors watching, go in the next couple of days, you know, not right away, and just gradually start talking to your guys and your girls. Because I know a lot don't do it. And I bet what you'll find, if you were really sincere about your approach and you talk to these individuals, what you'll find is you'll have supervisors that will come across individual officers that are actually having issues at home. And then you can sit down and try to find those ways to help that officer out, man. But this job is already hard as it is. It doesn't need to be harder from within. But they're just dickhead supervisors that are out there, and that's just what they do. So it is what it is, man. So if you ever have problems, leave your agencies, find a better agency, find someone that's going to take care of you. But there's just some people, man, in this job, that's just what they're about, man.
I have one of my favorite supervisors. He always said, like, my job is to get rid of all the stress that's coming down. Like, so he's a sergeant. So he's like, anything that's coming from down, you'll never hear about it. My goal is to take care of it with administration. And then you think everything is like great. And you just go out there and do your job and you know, do whatever that may be, you know, just, and I feel like when it comes to interdiction and proactive officers and productivity, those are the ones that are, you know, it's not the same glove that fits all of us. Like, those are the ones that you just kind of let them go. And then, like, if they need to be reined in because they're not maybe answering the calls for service because they're trying to be so, like, that's the conversation you have. But I don't think that, you know, like, if you have a proactive officer and he's going out there being proactive, you don't have the same conversation with that one as you do with the guy that doesn't answer his calls for service and take reports. Like, and I look at it as like, you need both of them. So you need the proactive guys and you need the people to take reports. But at the bare minimum, like, you just have to answer your calls for service. So, like, if I have a proactive guy, when I would go back and work patrol, I would always try to give proactive guys the opportunity to not be, you know, tied to the radio. Just go do your proactive things and put them in 2-man units. Go do your thing. Like, you back each other up. You get an arrest. Like, you take care of it. We, you know, like, if you need something, we'll come there. But like, you guys are basically your own entity. The rest of us are just going to take all the calls for service, and then you rotate it the next day or something small like that. And I feel like giving those like little rewards to the guys that want to go out there and the girls that want to be proactive, I think it goes a long way that you're showing like, hey, I'm trying to foster what you like. We theoretically don't have the manpower to do it, but I'll try everything in my power within reason to make it work within my own like little crew or whatever it may be.
Yeah, seeing supervisors getting out there and taking calls. Hey, I'm gonna take some calls for an hour or two. You guys go do your thing. I'll take some calls. Or supervisors just show up on scene and it's like, hey, yes, I'm the supervisor, but what do you need me to do? You need me to do scene security? Do you need me to do interviews? You need me to get statements? Like show up to calls, man, and just like help your guys and your girls out, man. I think that's just really something that lacks in law enforcement, especially the agencies that are smaller, call volumes not too wild. Or even when call volume's wild, like supervisors, a lot of locations can hear the radio. They know what's going on. And if you're not really actively busy, why not get out there and try to help some of your guys and your girls take some of those calls? But instead of showing up, trying to be the supervisor, the one in charge, cool. It's okay to be a backup officer, but having that additional support there, the guys and the girls on the front lines, they see that, and that is accumulated to a lot of respect. And then if you have issues, they see that you are a supervisor that come out there and you are also on the front lines. So they also give you a little bit of additional respect for, oh, okay, cool. I did something wrong, or I need to reel it in. And I also need to realize, okay, cool. This supervisor actually does give a crap, and they do come out to calls and they do help us out. And they're not trying to take over or give like immediate guidance. And they're letting me fail, effectively to a point where nothing's like critical is going to happen. But then later on, bring me back and have that sit down, that one-on-one, and make me maybe a better officer. And I think we just miss a lot of that stuff, man, in law enforcement. It's just like, I'm the lieutenant, I'm the captain, this is what's going to happen. And there's nothing else about that. Like that style of law enforcement, it's killing this field, this career. And man, it just sucks to see it sometimes across the country, man.
I don't see it. I don't have it. I know it exists. I get it. I know that.
I don't have it either.
I don't have it. Like from top down, like, to the colonel itself of my agency down, they have our 100% support of what we do. But that is for the officer to be able to keep that, because it's very easy to lose it. It's harder to keep it. And so you need to keep that trust and keep that relationship that you have with everybody, of all your leaders above you, and the people that you're above as well. So I don't see it. And I think that's probably due to the fact that if you're in my group, you can promote within my group. So if you promote, you don't promote out. We can have new people come in, but for the last 15 years, it's been somebody that has come up or have been really close member of our group and like understands the relationships, understands what we do every day. So I just have a new sergeant. We were both investigators or both TFOs at one time for the last 6 years, right? So now my old sergeant retires, and then my new one, who I worked along the side with, comes up, and now he's my boss. He's the sergeant. He's the guy. Well, for the last 6 years, he knows exactly how we work. He knows where, if we have a delivery, what he has to do. He knows, like, this isn't somebody that's coming in and changing the entire system, because we're kind of, for a while, we've been promoting within our group and bringing somebody else new within the fold. And I think that maybe help us, because we all have the same mindset. We're not bringing somebody in that worked, nothing wrong with this work, but maybe they worked alcohol investigations and now they're going to come in and do interdiction. It's like totally different, and they're trying to change things up, right? We don't have that, and maybe that's why I don't see the issues.
That's rare for a big agency, and I absolutely love it. I think promoting within rank or within specialty or position, whatever it may be, is huge. Like I'll never understand it. You spend so much and you invest so much as an agency into an individual to be in a specialized area, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, you want to be promoted? Let's go. Like, we just gave you a dog. Let's go. You're going to go work SWAT, and your dog gets to retire, gets to go. I'm like, we just spent $10,000-$20,000 on this thing, and like now I'm gonna go do this. Like it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I feel like in a private business that shit would have failed like 100 years ago. They'd be like, nah, I'm not doing that stuff. That don't make any sense. Here's some questions that came up. One other thing I forgot, but with my agency, there's about, I don't know, say 7 or 10 of us that work out every morning. And you want to talk about from like assistant chief all the way down to like guy with 2 years on the job. We're all in there busting each other's balls. It doesn't matter. Like when you're in the gym, there's no rank. It's all like we make fun of each other. And I was like, man, that you're talking about it earlier, Nick, about like not knowing your people and those types of things. That has brought some good camaraderie, because like nothing is off limits. Like you think the assistant chief is not going to get his balls busted by like 3 years on. Like it's all nonstop. We just kind of talk shit to each other. I don't know. It kind of brings like levity to, to a profession that is, very stressful. I don't know. It seems to be a good thing for us anyways. I don't know. And maybe that's helps out with like, I don't have a lot of the, or any of the problems that, you were talking about with poor leadership. Have I in the past, like here and there, sure. But as a department as a whole, not to the extent that I hear of other people across the country. Someone asked, what do you feel about our relationship with Mexico? Media portraying it's deteriorating. Wonder if you'll see uptick on things coming across the border.
I think in the next 3 years, I kind of just have, and again, personal opinion. I feel like stuff is still going to come across. I think they will keep it at a slower rate than our previous administration, but I don't know, man. I mean, I don't think if we keep this same type of strengthful administration, I think it's going to go right back to open borders, which is going to probably crush us. But I mean, either between immigration and drugs and guns, yeah, I don't know, man. I still see it pretty steady right now, slow in my personal opinion, but it's still there. Stuff still coming across. Air. I think El Paso just had the drone thing. I don't know if you guys were up on that. I just happened to catch it. I saw a meme about it, and the next thing I know, I actually saw a news clip. I was like, oh, this was actually real. It wasn't just a funny joke. And I've known drones have been a thing for years on the border, but to see the Department of War step in like that.
Yeah, coming over onto our borders.
Yeah, I think it was a test. I think it was a test to see what our reaction would be for the amount of drones that did come over. So it's interesting. I think they're just testing security measures, but it'll be interesting for sure.
I think this, for me, the scariest relationships is the cartel's relationship with actual terrorists, because just different motivations and countries that really don't want us to be here, like China. And so you start to build a relationship there where the cartel's focuses on monetary gains, but these, terrorists don't want us to be here. China doesn't want us to be here. So now you've teamed those two up. That's a scary world. So I don't know. Hopefully we figure some shit out with it for sure.
Yeah.
Legendary Jerry Worms from the very first Cops episode says, as a frontline supervisor, you can only control your small area of operation. However, your subordinates can have a good culture that you create, led by example. And then it says, Nick with the no K, are you taking your dog with you into the bus station, or are you using the dog to get reactions at the bus station itself?
Yeah. So I will do that if I don't have anything, if I don't have any reactions, if I don't see anybody we're talking to or anything, I just don't have nothing. So I might go, maybe if it looks like there's some good bags under the bus, I might go get my dog and run the bus and see what we have. So, and then you talk about a moth to a light. You take your dog onto the bus, everybody just comes right to the windows because it's glass. You can see the buses, and it's just everybody's coming up to it and seeing. They want to see the dog and see the dog work. So, I wish I had a dog that was able to bring him into the bus terminal and walk around nice and looks really good. Well, my dog is absolutely a tear. He's a German short hair. He's a pointer. The dude is a menace to society. And so he would be up on the benches trying to drive the bus. He would be in a bag face first in somebody's lunch sack. Like this dude, he is nuts. I'm not kidding you. He's nuts. I wish I had a nice little lab that was just healed next to me the entire time and not
Labs
this
are no
menace
different.
to society.
Labs are no different. Mine's 85 pounds, and he thinks he's a 4-pound lap dog, and he just wants attention and to find drugs and give him a ball. That's all he wants, and it's nonstop. Like he doesn't have an off switch. The labs are no different.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I remember what I was going to say earlier, Nick. Without the K, Nick, do you ever think about putting like narcotics or anything on your vest?
Like for police markings, narcotics. Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, I never have, and I'd be open to it because, and I could see maybe where you're going at is like if I'm standing in the bus terminal and it says police, you know, how many different overtime gigs are there where you just dude just sitting in the corner not doing anything, and they're like, oh, that's just this guy, homeboy, making $85 an hour on overtime is standing in the. But if I had something that said narcotics on it, or Red Ninja or something on it, then like, dude, ain't messing around. It's not the regular police. If we, you know, right? So,
dude, I think you should. I think you should give it a whirl, man. Like, just test it. 60 days. Go in, see if there's any different reactions to it. Because I think it is. I mean, you're going in with a specific niche, you know, narcotics. So I think you're still going to get the reactions from you gave the example earlier, the guy that had or he's supposed to be out of state. Well, it wasn't supposed to be out of state, but it was out of state.
Yeah.
I think regardless of what you're wearing, they're going to see a badge and uniform. But in the mindset, in my personal opinion, in the mindset of someone who has several hundred kilos, I guess several hundred, but several kilos, I'm listening for a bus, you know, maybe 30, 40 keys or less, 5 keys, I think you would get a crazy reaction because they're like, that's the dope police. They're here for me. And I think you're still going to get them regardless, but I'd be open to know how your results go if you guys would just throw on some narcotic markings if your agency allowed it.
Yeah, I'll definitely. I'm going to figure that out.
The only reason I brought it up is early in my career, I think it was Shane Fisher, and I don't want to say it. I know his first name was Shane. He was in like Tennessee Drug Task Force, one of them, and he talked about having like stickers and a hat, and like I couldn't personalize my car, but I got it said police or narcotic canine. I had a Charger, no cage, and he would set that on my dash because I couldn't put stickers in my car or put on my front seat. And the reactions I would get from that, I'm already the police, they already know that, but the reaction when they saw narcotics or canine are priceless. Now that I can put stickers on them, they're like, okay, I'll watch them look at the sticker and then like start looking for my dog. But he's the one that told me about it, and I think that it would work great in the terminals. I really do.
Yeah. Julian just put up a video, something like that recently, where the guy was like, "You see that patch? What does that say? Not the regular police." That was pretty funny.
Nick Jackson, here's one for you.
What's up, bro?
Vehicle positioning on a 2-lane road, parallel versus broadside. Curious on your personal like or opinion.
If I were to sit stationary, or if I had the choice, I'd definitely be mobile. I just like mobile more now in this days. And again, I picked that up from just some friends in the Southwest. But if I had to choose, just because of your particular example, I would probably say stationary perpendicular. It gives you the ability to look, 180 degrees left, right. That's my opinion. But I guess it would also depend on the volume of traffic. Do you have a high volume of traffic? Is it hard for you to pull out? Right. All of these are going to, dictate on how I would sit. Because if I'm on a 2-lane road and I have pretty high volume traffic and I can't particularly pull out perpendicular without probably causing an accident. But if I were to sit parallel to the road using a side mirror where I could just drive straight and then merge probably directly behind my target car, that's going to all vary. So that's what I would say. I'd really evaluate your area and then determine what's best for you and your traffic volume is always going to be the key. So I don't think there's one set way.
Yeah, I think traffic volume is a huge deciding factor in that. I mean, some of the roads that I work, I like the slow rolling, but I would like that road to have more than 2 lanes just because it's so congested. So, for example, I work 94. It's 3 lanes, so I can sit and camp in that front, I guess in the first lane or whatever, in front of a semi. So as they're coming up, then I get those reactions. It's very congested. But if I go to I-65, let's say, that is 2 lanes, and during the summer it's just as congested as 94. But 2 lanes, I just feel like as I'm trying to slow roll, I'm just screwing traffic up, and it's not it's not like everyone, it's not. I like 3 lanes or more just based on the volume of traffic if I'm going to start to slow roll. But that's just kind of how I look at it.
Yeah.
Well, we've been at it for an hour. I didn't eat dinner yet, so if we're all good, man, it was good. It was good talking to you guys like always.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, man. We got to do a 4-way with Jeremy Bedingfield in here when he comes back.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm feeling sick.
Well, hold on.
Yeah,
He has
that'd be
one more
good.
question. I apologize. It's a 2-way road, 1 lane each. 2-way road. I would sit on. Me personally, I would sit if you can sit on like shoulder or something like that. Like, but I would always try to sit perpendicular. I wouldn't try to sit parallel.
Correct. Agreed. I think that would be best because that would give you the fastest ability to pull forward, if even if it is a high volume road, on the shoulder into the roadway directly behind your target car, so to speak. So I think that would be your best.
Cool. You guys be safe. Need anything, reach out.
Yep.
See you guys.
too.